Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Well, good morning, top of the morning in sunny California. This is Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk, folks. That's how we do it around here, straight talk. I have wonderful co-hosts. In fact, I have 3, and I believe 2 is on. They're going to be sitting in for me in the future because the old girl got some stuff to do, but they're going to bring it to you, too. That's kind of poetic. Wow, maybe I need to start writing poems. Anyway, my whole coach are the wonderful Keith Swanson. He the AI man. Y'all been looking for him. Check him out. April 26th at Black Writers on Tour. It's going down, you guys, at Carson Community Center. Admission is free. Parking is free, seminars are free, and we have a host of authors from across the country. Many of them will be unveiling their new books. It's on and cracking, folks. We're going to write now like never before because we will not be written out of history. So who will tell our story? You will see at the Carson Community Center that Saturday, April 26th. My other co-host, he's new to our team, none other than Mr. Ricky Davis. Good morning, Ricky. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning to everybody.
Good to have you. Sounding great. Keith, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good for an old man, so.
All right, now, that's what people are looking for these days, old man, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody thinking about these young bucks, no sense, no money, no guidance. Don't y'all call up here talking crazy to me. I know what I'm talking about.
The old man has lasted this long, has some resources somewhere. So
yeah.
What young folks don't.
And most of all, wisdom. That's key. It's better to have a man with wisdom than a fool with money. I better put that quote in my book. I'm on it today. Y'all know that, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm just saying. Oh, we have a great show for you today. Oh, this is hot, you guys. The topic is broke, bitter, and barely touching. How the downward economy is wrecking love, sex, and relationships. Folks, this is real talk today. In an economy where eggs cost more than a first date and rent kills romance, couples struggle not just in their bank account, but also in their bedrooms. Is money draining your intimacy? That's the question today. Can a sexless, I'm going to repeat that, sexless relationship survive the economy storm? Now, when we say sexless, we mean is your partner and you having sex less than 10 times a year. That's what sex is, 10 times a year. I guess that's about once a month.
Yeah, it's sexless.
Yeah. If it's less than that, it's a sexless relationship.
Yes. I would say so.
We're going to ask the role, what roles does emotional labor play and who's carrying the load? And when did I am tired really start? Meaning, I'm turned off by life. People get turned off by life to everything. They get turned off. They don't want to cook. They don't want to go to church. They don't want to go to work. They don't want to have sex. They don't want intimate. They don't want anything. That's what you call have bailed out. So In a time when lovers should be leaning on each other like lifelines,
Hmm.
many are sleeping back to back, emotionally shut down, and sexually disconnected. Well, what happened to stick together for rich or poor? Today we're going to rip the cover off the silence. And let me tell you before we get started, this show is not for the faint of heart, the sanctified saint, or the holy roller, unless they're ready to take off the halo and talk like a human. That's what I'm talking about today. Broke, bitter, and barely touching. Wow. What you guys think about that? Do you think this fit a lot of people in this country today? Broke,
Oh,
bitter, and barely touching.
oh, yes. Ever since, especially since COVID, people have been struggling with that because your
And now,
economy never really came back, and
okay,
and and the and the inflation rates are so high, especially when it comes to housing. The price of housing has doubled in the last 4 years. So most of your money is going to housing, and people are, their wages haven't kept up, so they are both bitter and disgusted. You hear that all the time again about, especially the men. The men are pretty much checked out. Men don't even date anymore because it's too expensive, and they don't want to. They don't want the burden of anybody else. So a lot of men have stopped dating.
wow, what you think strain that's going to put on men wanting to get married? You think that's going to be,
And,
hey, let me put on brakes? Because men feel have been socialized to believe you're supposed to bring in the bacon. If all
uh,
things fail, you're supposed to do it. So we're going to have to shift some attitudes
oh,
around the roles of the male and the female.
okay, the thing is what what COVID has taught a lot of men. Really, what's going on is basically a lot of men, especially because wages haven't really risen, they can't afford to take care of themselves, and they with COVID has taught them that they have the emotional support, the financial support, and physical support you have to bring to having a mate um, is expensive and it's time consuming. They don't have it, so they just quit. Okay, they quit. They're into their hobbies, their video games, and being online, and they whatever else they did to enjoy themselves. But they said it's not worth it anymore.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this. Is sex a luxury or a necessity in a relationship during hard times?
If you're in a relationship, it's just a necessity. Okay, if you're not in hard times, that's how come they're not dating or getting with anybody. The relationship is expensive. It's not the sex. Okay, so basically, the relationship and the sex is expensive in hard times.
And you're saying it's really not a necessity, particularly
No,
men,
that's
when they're in hard time, they
only in hard
focusing
time.
on other stuff.
And basically, this one they called it what they call it now is monkhood. Okay, in other
Okay.
words, what they found out during COVID, they don't need a woman or sex; they won't die. So the thing is, rather than the expense and effort to try to go out there and date and have a woman and have a relationship, it's too much, especially in
Women,
hard
I
times
hope
like this.
you're listening. Oh my
Yeah,
God, I hope you're
yeah.
listening. So I
I'm,
hope you don't take it personally when your man is not really chasing you like he used
he's
to
not,
do.
they hear their complaints. They show up, the women are showing up to events and places, stuff that they're looking for men, and men aren't there. Men aren't there at all.
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
You better go to church. Y'all better go to church. You better go
yeah,
to church.
yeah.
Look, we got a lot of callers on. You guys
Hmm.
just hold tight, trust me. We're going to come to you. We're just going to dialogue a minute here.
Hmm.
And the number is 310-928-7733. That's 310-928-7733. If you're at work, you know how it is, and you don't want the folks to know what you're talking about or what you're doing, you can email us here at innerlightradio@yahoo.com. That's INNER, innerlightradio@yahoo.com. Ricky, what's your take on this topic? Broke, bitter, and barely touching. Don't you touch me. Don't you
Man,
touch
I'm
me.
just, I'm sitting here just listening, and I since COVID, I mean, it
Hmm.
has been a understood, and just listening to a lot of women and men, um, stress, anxiety, and just not feeling, motivated. has really impacted relationships. Because if you think about it, how can you really, really be vulnerable and open up in a relationship if you got so much stuff on your plate thinking about trying to pay this bill, pay that bill, you've been laid off, or, you got more bills than money. And so I know for men, a lot of times, men are very cognizant of what they're able to do. It's like what I'm able to, like I'm not able to perform if I can't take care of myself, or if I'm worried about this, worried about that. The expectation, there's so much pressure and weight on men to handle everything. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, a lot of women, not all, but a lot of women tend to put more on the man than the man can actually handle, instead of just saying, hey, let me help you, or how can I help you? And so when you look at that, men feel like, okay, if I'm full, if I'm pressured, if I'm weighed out, I'm not going to be able to do the things I really want to do because I'm still trying to handle my business. And on top of that, if I'm tired and if I'm drained, how can I really perform? How can I really be available for a woman? And I think a lot of women today, they really expect more from a man than they're willing to help a man. And so at the end of the day, like you said, Dr. Rosie, there has to come a point in time where women have to recognize that men can't do everything by themselves these days. Yes, I know you were taught a certain way about a man is supposed to do X, Y, and Z, but things have changed. And I'm not saying that a man is not supposed to stand up and handle his business. But at the end of the day, where are we going to get to a place where we're working together as a team? Because this economy is not getting any better. The stress of life is not getting any better. So at what point is a man going to feel safe and secure that a woman is going to be able to assist him, help him, or even have his back, to support him, help him feel, like he's appreciated, help him feel like he's affirmed, and let him know that he's not in it by himself. So I do believe that sex has been impacted in relationships because men are just tired, drained, and not motivated.
Wow. In a time when lovers should be leaning on each other like a lifetime, men are sleeping back to back, emotionally shut down, and sexually disconnected. So you're talking about the different desires. Women, sometimes when they under pressure, going through stuff, sex becomes a necessity for them. But for men, it becomes sometimes the opposite. But do men find it difficult to really say to their partner, I love you. I'm not into sex. I can't, it's, I would just be just doing something. I can't feel you right now. Let's try it next week, or give me a break. I need a sexual break. Can men say that to their wives and feel still their manhood? I'm not into this. I'm not feeling it. Can you all do that?
Yeah, communication. That's one of the things that I believe has been the thorn in relationships, is lack of communication.
It has.
Men in history have really not been known to be communicators. We've been designed and programmed to be problem solvers, and so I think that women sometimes expect men to do things that there's not in their nature. Not saying that's an excuse. However, are women really delicate and sensitive enough to show and demonstrate and teach a man how to communicate and try to help to get the best out of him, instead of expecting him to do something it's just not in his nature? I know for me, communication is not a problem. It's just not a problem. However, I can't read a woman's mind. And I think a lot of times, a lot of women are expecting men to read their minds and just to figure it out, and then blame him for not knowing exactly how to do it. And so when communication is suffering, then the relationship is going to suffer.
Well, the thing is, women, this modern society has taught women that men should think like women, and they don't.
Right.
Men communicate differently. Go ahead.
How can you, as a man, become vulnerable to the point that you can say to your woman that you're not the ever-ready battery, the Long John Silver, as the world has portrayed you? You can ask anybody, what do you know about the black man? They will not tell you he invented blood plasma. He was the first successful open heart surgeon. They'll start telling you about his sexual prowess. And so because of that, I said in the book I wrote, Satisfying the Black Man, Sexually Made Simple, that black men rather have a heart attack or stroke than to feel that they're suffering from an erection. That's
Yes.
why they'll stop taking their medication versus telling the doctor that the medicine is impacting their sexual stamina. They'll just throw that medicine, flush it down the toilet because I can't get it up. You see? So there's so much pressure put
On
on
black men,
the
on
black
black
men.
men,
So
on
they
black
have
men.
to say to the world, that's not who I am. I'm more than peanuts, okay? I
Yeah,
have brains.
yeah. That's a
I bring
black
more
man.
to the table than my penis.
Black women have a different expectation of the men than other women on the planet. Other women on the planet, and I've heard white women, Asian women, Latino women say they have no expectation to have an orgasm from their men.
They
Black women
lying.
are,
They're lying.
well,
They're lying. Okay.
this and other, and I heard other dating coaches say the exact same thing. Okay, the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
it's the opposite for black men and black women. Okay, black women expect their black men to perform.
Well, Keith, you got to understand that I'm going to some callers. You have to understand for black people, number one, the
Mm-hmm.
only gratification within their reach has
I,
really been
I
sex. They
understand.
couldn't get on that yacht on the weekend. They
Mm-hmm.
couldn't take that trip when the man stressed them out at work. You
Mm-hmm.
know, sex was like their tranquilizer. So
Yeah.
they run home. So they want sex, something to affirm me because I've been neglected at work. They don't see
Yes.
me as any
Yeah.
worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am reaffirmed when my wife grab me and hold me and tell me, baby, you
Yeah.
did good. I love you, and give it to me, okay? So
Yeah.
sex means something
It
different to
does.
black folks than it
People.
does other
It does.
people.
It does, and that's why um, I can't tell you how many black men I've counseled with that. Okay, and they've told. I mean, I have black men that are outside the country dating. They tell you it's different. Okay, but you
Well,
don't
Keith,
have the same. Go. I'm sorry.
that's why I wrote the book, Satisfying the Black Man, Sexually Made Simple, and Satisfying the Black Woman,
Mm-hmm.
Sexually Made Simple, because I know that there's a different,
There's a
different
difference.
experience, different culture,
Yeah.
and it's different. And black
Yeah.
folks were the one, oh, you just trying to start trouble. Us is all
No,
the same. Us is not all the same, and
we're
you
not the
better
same.
get a grip.
We
Let's take a call. Let's go to last number is 8721.
mhm.
8721, open your mic and tell us where you're calling from and what's your take on the topic today. We're talking about broke, bitter, barely touching.
Barely. Yeah. Oh, what's worse than that?
Barely touching.
Not even talking. Not even looking at each other half the time.
Sleeping in sleep, turning your back, getting in the bed late. Hope the other one sleep when you get in the bed. Come on, folks. And like I said, for you holy rollers, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, baptized, don't call up here talking trash today. It's time to take the halo and let's talk like a human. Go ahead, caller.
Caller.
2721, last number. Going once, going twice. Okay. Let's move to, I believe
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm
go
here.
ahead.
I'm here.
Go ahead.
Yes. Very, very interesting topic.
What's your name? Where you
as I
calling
was
from?
listening. Daryl Davis. I'm calling from Seal Beach, California.
Okay.
And very, very interesting topic. As I was listening, I can only really think about how much we bring so much of our stuff into relationships and expecting the other to receive in a way where we're not accommodating one another. And I believe that communication is so key. And society has said that, I can hold everything in and I don't have to let my spouse or my loved one or whatever, let them know how I feel. So I believe that communication is key because with communication, it allows both individuals to not only understand each other, but also hear each other out so that we can be able to accommodate one another. And like Dr. Rosie said, sometimes you're not going to be able to perform or feel it that night. So I believe that communication allows the door to be open in a way where both people are understanding one another, right? It's all about understanding.
You're right.
And I believe that if there's understanding, if that's the foundation and all we're getting understanding, then there shouldn't be any type of, oh, you know what, I'm not really feeling this right now. I'm not really feeling you. I'm out. Let's go ahead and write up the divorce papers. I mean, we're so quick
to pull out
Mm-hmm.
and not have patience to understand and go through what we're going through, because every relationship is different, right? Every relationship is different. We bring different stuff to different relationships, but when are we going to get to the point where we're honest with one another, to
Right. Let
where
me
we
say
both
this,
are?
Carla, you're right on the money. I say to people, and I expressed it in the book, Satisfying the Black Man, Sexually Made Simple. When a man just want to have sex, there's a difference in wanting to have sex and wanting to make love. I want to repeat that. There's a difference
Right.
in wanting to have sex and wanting to make love. Sometimes men may come from a stressful situation at work, and this become his tranquilizer. You know, he wants to have sex. But what I'm saying is nothing wrong with that when you just want a quickie, you know what I mean? But you need to tell your mate, look, I'm not into making love. I just need to, have a quickie, because don't have me packing for a long trip if you just want to go around the corner. Hello, somebody. That's what communication is all about.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right on the money. So we thank you for your input. We got a lot of calls on the board, and continue to listen. I mean, I'm creating a night show. You guys look forward to it. It's going to
Ooh.
be called "If You Can't Stand the Heat, You Better Get Out the Kitchen," because it's time to do some real talk around here, because we have serious relationships. And if there ever was a time that black folks need to find a way to unite and get married, only on the merit of survivorship,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
time is now. So we're
Yeah.
going to have to find a way to
They'll
make
learn.
to learn how to make it work. Okay, let's go to last number is 1870. Open your mic. Tell us where you're calling from and what is your take on the topic: broke, bitter, and barely touching. Go ahead, caller.
Hi,
Last. Go ahead.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Caller,
Okay.
go
Culver
ahead.
City, California.
Okay. What's your take?
I believe, my name is Glenda Rollins
Mhm.
from Culver City.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that foreplay happens before you go to the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be cooking, showing yourself sexy, getting a kiss every now and then, getting a hug, but setting that atmosphere. Whether it comes through that night or not,
Mm-hmm.
you got to keep that atmosphere going. And
And when
he
you
needs
say
to
you,
know that.
Glenn, is that the male and the female?
Well, that's a good question.
That's a
I
good
was
question, because
talking.
sex does not, as I explained in my book, Satisfying the Black Woman, Sexually Made Simple, sex does not begin in the bedroom. So you're
It
right on
does
the money.
not. And the other thing, but if she can set that mood, he will follow. And he will be involved. And I've experienced where I will give myself, let me get a kiss, a peck here,
Mm-hmm.
let me get a hug,
Mm-hmm.
and then he becomes susceptible to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
But Glenda,
it's really
what if he can't? There are times what these men are saying. There are times, I don't care what you do. You can kiss me on the ear, lick me on the neck. I ain't in it. I'm not. I got too much going on. Come on, let's get real. Men, talk to me.
And,
Talk to me now. This is a woman talking about what you all would do based on
okay.
what she would do. Stay on, Glenda. Come on, man.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Okay. That's when you need. Okay, if you're having that kind of problem and where he can't get into it, okay, then that's when he needs. That's when he needs somebody like you or somebody that's a psychologist, right? And then he's gonna have to learn that it's not his pleasure. His pleasure is not necessary for his wife to have pleasure. Okay, that's his job to give her pleasure. Okay, that's
You,
part of his position, and he has to. You have to. That's why you have to talk to a man.
mm-hmm.
Okay, you can't talk to a man like you talk to a woman. Okay, that you have to be in the mood. You got to yada yada yada. No, man. Look, dude, you're married. Okay.
It's really
Yeah.
all about talking. It's really about being upfront. Being upfront. You know. Go
Okay.
ahead, Glenn, and make your other point because you were on the road.
No, see,
We got
that
a lot.
was my
We got a lot of
only
noise.
point was
Hmm.
that, foreplay doesn't begin in the bedroom.
Right.
I don't know who that is.
I agree with you, Glenn. I really do.
That last caller, Jamal. Okay, there we go. She got him.
Yeah. If your mic is open when you're not speaking, he's going to have to disconnect you. Glenn, you're absolutely right. It doesn't begin in the bedroom. It does seem. I mean, it can begin at work. When that man get in that car to go to work, and you have a note on the steering wheel talking about. Folks, y'all better listen up in here. It ain't about what you think it's about. It's a little thing that touches the heart that makes the
That's
other heart get hard. Okay, I forgot
that's
this
right.
wasn't a nighttime show. Y'all excuse me. Wait for my
I,
next show.
I remember coming to the door one time when he was coming home, and I had on a sexy. He got
Okay.
weak.
All right. Yeah.
We're going to
He's
have to
like, "Oh
look.
my gosh, you look so beautiful."
Yeah.
Okay, you
You
talk
know,
to. You know what I tell women? It's like sometimes you might be, in the kitchen cooking just
Hmm.
with your bathrobe on and nothing else, and tell them to come watch you cook and just
Yeah.
let the cold fly open. It's a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
We gotta learn to keep the spice, but you gotta remember one thing. I don't care if you strip buck naked.
Hmm.
There's sometimes in a man's life
Hmm.
that he see you and don't see you.
Hmm.
That's the time that we're talking about now. We're talking about hard times. We're talking about times when men, as I said, is spending more for eggs than they will on their first date. We're
Hmm.
talking about men who are trying to figure out how they can hold on to their apartment and how they can pay rent, but yet they have a needed woman. I ask women many times, are you in love? Are you in need? So we got to think about these things. Is money draining your intimacy? How do women feel when they are broke? They feel men have a different feeling. I believe that's why we have men on the line. And I'm going to
Yeah.
shut up because I want to hear some other callers. I really do. We feel different when we're broke. Number
Yeah.
one, we
Oh yeah.
know that if we lose our apartment, we can go to girlfriend house and lay down. We can call mud deal. Men don't have it like that. That's why we are going to pull together one of the largest relationship summits for LA. It's in the making because, folks, we got to get it together. We have a call on 9946. Go ahead and give us your name, where you're calling from, and what's your take on the topic. Broke, bitter, and barely touching. 2731, that's Ricky. Okay, go ahead, Ricky. You had a comment.
Yes, I did. So I want to address something that a lot of people, and I've talked to, like I said, a lot of women in circles, and a lot of men deal with midlife crisis differently. There are some men out there who don't feel adequate anymore. Maybe it's because of their weight, maybe because of their energy, maybe because of their bank account, maybe just because they're just feeling like, they're just going through a period they may not be able to explain. Now, I'm not saying that from the perspective of saying that's an excuse, but there are a lot of women that I've talked to that have tried to communicate, tried to talk, try to be sexy at times, try to cook that favorite meal, or try to come cozy up and watch a movie, and there has just been a closed door. So what I want to be able to address is this. There are a lot of times where a lot of men just need their space. There's a lot of men out there who assume the position of, my woman may need to understand what I'm going through, but what I want to tell the listeners is that there are a lot of men out there who will not tell you how they're feeling, will not communicate, but they'll do it in other ways. And so that's when I say therapy is one of the best ways to try to get an understanding from both parties, because I know for me, I've been to therapy so many times in regards to my relationships, and I've learned so much about myself that I did not know was impacting the relationship. And so that caused me to go into back into the relationship and say, you know what, let me use these tools. Let me communicate what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what I'm desiring, And that way I can give my woman the opportunity to reciprocate or to respond. A lot of men don't do that. A lot of men just, when they shut down and they not feeling it, they expect the woman to just figure it out and just to go through this wilderness with them, not knowing that their man is checked out. And then the woman now is left. She's left horny. She's left irritated, frustrated, and now the only thing she has left is to talk to her girlfriends and just vent. But then at that point, once she talks to their girlfriend, they all realize they're going through the same thing. Now they have a situation at hand, and now they come home and they just shut down, and they don't want to do anything because they realize that this man is not meeting them halfway. And so therefore, the only option is one or two things: either leave or stay and disconnect.
Because she doesn't know how to talk to him either, and that's the problem.
Exactly.
It's all about communication and not feeling vulnerable. But all those women, those men out here, I hope you heard what Ricky said. He said he had been in therapy for several times.
Exactly.
That is the issue with men. Sometimes they see it as a sign of weakness. And for all you women out there who are frustrated because the men are going through these situations, and you're at a moment in your life is you say, well, I need that intimacy. And sometimes it's not just an intimacy. You just feeling like you need to have an orgasm. Well, let me give you a message. If that's what you need, don't beat up on your man. Go to the store. That's exactly what I said. Go to the store. Now read my lips. Go ahead, Keith. You had a comment.
I was going to say the thing is that it's on both sides, because she's expecting him to fix the problem. Okay, instead of understanding that he needs help fixing the problem, and vice versa. So he can't communicate with her, and she can't tell him what she's feeling. Okay, and the second thing is there's not enough male therapists out there, and the reason men, especially black men, don't go to therapy is because they don't see themselves in therapy. Okay,
I think even if they go, Keith, I think black men are finding it very hard to go to a therapist that doesn't look like them.
Exactly.
Now, am I telling the truth?
You're telling the truth, and basically,
that's true.
And a woman at that, they want to go to a man.
You know, when you're seeing a woman, and most times a white woman, okay? And the thing is, and I've talked to black male counselors. They're in the business, right? And what they have noticed is that black men have a unique experience in this country, right? And basically, you can't have a white therapist throwing things at him that doesn't fit his experience. He doesn't see himself. They don't even talk the same language half the time. And that's what I think. I think that's what's missing. It's not that every time because I talk to a lot of men, okay, and it's not they don't want to go, okay. When they do go, what do they get? They get a female or a white, or especially a white female that doesn't know their experience, and that's how come they don't go. So they might go one or two times, they don't go back.
Right. Let me give the number out again. The number to call is 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733, or you can email us here at innerlight, innerlight radio @yahoo.com, and you can express yourself. This is the Express Yourself Hour, and we are talking about broke, bitter, and barely touching, how the downward economy is wrecking love, sex, and relationships, folks. It is so true. We have another call on hold. Caller, go ahead. We have so many numbers up here. Open your mic. Give us your name, where you calling from, and what you got to say about this. Go ahead, caller. That person. Hello, are you there, caller?
Yes.
Okay, give us your name.
1481.
Okay, give us your name.
Jones. My name is George Jones. Can you hear me?
Yes, where are you calling from, George?
Perfect. I'm calling from Redondo Beach, California.
Okay.
Very good.
I personally just had a great time listening to you guys' conversation. One of the things that came to my mind when it comes to broke, bitter, and I forgot the rest of it was.
Barely touching.
With regards to sexuality, I'm thinking that the biggest thing is the lack of intimacy there with whoever they're trying to be with. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. But as far as, and you guys use a plethora of things, and there's a lot to peel back on this onion, which is going to take a lot more than a couple of hour to discuss.
We're gonna do
But
a whole seminar, so we'll we're gonna have a whole day of workout, okay?
hey, that sounds great. My thing is, first of all, get right with yourself. I heard a caller say earlier about communication. Communication is great, but the thing that's missing with communication is that it needs to be open and honest communication.
That's it.
And as far as understanding goes, sometimes you have to further explain and not just expect someone to understand what you're trying to convey. And in the process of you talking to that individual, ask them, are they getting what you're saying? Because sometimes we'll just nod and shake our heads in agreement with no clue, context, or idea as to what's being conveyed. So, it's a lot more intricate involvement than just spitting out words. That's just for my life. I can go into another direction and saying, hey, if we're talking to people who are believers, then you also have to allow yourself to step away from the fear, walk into the faith, and if you have faith, then you understand that whatever you see going on around you is not for you, because whatever your faith tells you allows you to understand everything's going to be okay anyway.
Are you talking about in the world but not of the world? That's what you're referring to, right?
That's what I'm referring to. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So you shouldn't have those types of issues and problems if you, as Christians say, know whose they are and from whence they come, unless there's doubt seeping into their minds. There should really be no issue.
Well, let me tell you something. Hold on, Colin. One thing that we need to understand when it comes to you raised a real issue. That's intimacy. A lot of times when you think your mate is really wanting sex, and what they really want is closeness, wanting intimacy. All kisses and hugs and pat on the butt and pinching on the breast should not turn into a sexual encounter. And that's what people have to understand. Can you imagine what it's like for a person who's really just intimacy, kissing, touching you all in the right places, and the man, and he has an erection, and he turn over and go to sleep? That is a powerful moment. That's showing some control. You don't have to do something every time you get an erection, and I think men need to understand that. You don't have to do something. You don't have to have sex every time you get an erection. I think that's a control that men need to really get into. Intimacy is very important.
It's called testosterone. That's a different testosterone. I wish women could have an injection of testosterone to know what men actually go through. Just one time.
They don't have to do anything with every erection. Men can get an erection if the wind blows. They can get an erection when their top base dog player.
But they're not sleeping next to a woman when they get an erection. Also, that's the difference.
Well, y'all better get some control. I'm trying to teach you how to control yourself. Learn to have an erection and lay down. Okay. Learn how to have an erection and go somewhere and sit down. Go ahead.
Dr.
Yes.
Rose, I'm going to agree with you on that, because I, as a man who's been married for 22 years, there are times that I can have an erection and I can lay next to my wife and just hold her, because the intimacy part, as I've gotten older, has become more important than the actual physical act of sex.
Right.
What happened to your testosterone as you gotten older, sir?
No, he's wise. It's not his testosterone.
Your testosterone goes down after 35, okay? That's the
reason. It goes down after 35 unless you do something about it.
Well, some people go down before then. You got all these impotent men. Don't get me started. Go ahead.
Unless you're taking testosterone replacement injections, it's going to go down. And basically what's going to happen is that drug is not pushing you anymore. So there's going to be a difference. That's why. That's why energy is more important to a man after 35.
But my point is, you don't have to do anything with it.
He doesn't have to. Yeah, he doesn't have to.
No, you don't have to. Because discipline can play a major role in your life. That's something I had a conversation with someone yesterday. They were complaining about how their life was not going the way they wanted to go. And I asked them one question. Do you live a disciplined life? And on top of that, do you have clarity within your discipline? And the individual looked at me and said, well, no, I have to first look up those words. I said, well, look up those words, come back to me, and we'll have a conversation. because it is possible to
It is
lay
possible.
down your woman with an erection. Okay? Especially if you're trying to have respect for her needs and her wishes and her desires. Otherwise, she will think of you as someone who only looks at her as an object of your selfish personal desire.
And you know,
Now,
as a counselor, I have seen that happen with women after their babies are born, how, you know, they're trying to wait a certain amount of time before they get sexually involved, and they dealing with a spouse who feel like, well, I just gotta have it. I mean, I got this hard on. Well, go somewhere, you know, learn what masturbation is. You know, come on, people, we got to get some sense in this. I've had women struggling with that. I mean, you don't. Now, I forgot this is not my night show. Y'all wait, hold on. This is not the night show. I got something coming for you, okay? But let me say this, you
I
all.
thought you
Sex
guys
is.
all the time. So, yeah.
Keith, now you know I'm not going to be able to go to church Sunday, right?
I know.
Pastor, did you hear Dr. Milligan? She's telling men to masturbate. And I told women to go to the store, too. Yeah, I did it. I sure did. But wait till my night show. I bet you won't be listening. Listen, sex is not just about pleasure. It's about connection. And when storms come, financial or otherwise, it's the strength of that connection that determines whether the relationship will sink or sail. So maybe the real question isn't, can a sexual relationship survive, but rather, can two disconnected people fight the same storm with different umbrellas? That's what I'm talking about.
The biggest thing, and this is something that I have learned over the past 10 years, especially with men going to different societies, right? Okay, just like a boxer, right? Okay, like they say in boxing, right? Okay, when you get hit, okay, you revert to who you really are. You revert to your training, okay. And what has happened over the past, let's say, 40 years, they have not trained men and women to be married. They train men and women to be individuals, not marriage. They train men and women to be partners and not married. So, and on the old covenant marriage, like when you were raised, Dr. Rose, you were actually raised to be a
Y'all
wife.
know I'm 102, right?
And
Go ahead.
But the thing is, your generation was raised to be wives. In other words, so you could stay married and go through the storms of relationships. Is because you actually relied on your training. Okay, the people nowadays cannot rely on their training because they weren't trained to be that way. So now when they get into a storm, just like a business, they eject when the business is not going right. Okay.
That's exactly. Yep.
Let's take another call. We have a caller from, I believe, 213. Open your mic. And if we have someone on that we can't see your number, when the other person finishes, just open your mic and jump right in. We're talking about broke, bitter, and barely touching. Go ahead, caller from 213. Caller, you know who you are. Open your mic. Give us your name. I think the last number is 4439, maybe. Go ahead, caller. Okay, we'll go back to Keith, or go back to.
Yeah, I want to say something. I totally agree with you, Keith, because within the last, I would say 20 years, marriage, learning how to be married, has not really been the focal point for a lot of people. A lot of people will just jump and get married because it feels good, it sounds good, and that's the person I'm going to be with, but no one has ever been taught how to be married and stay married because, like you said, society has given us, this opportunity to do whatever feels good, whatever you want to do. You can make it as long as you have money, real estate, investments. You can. This relationship is going to work. However, once the storms come, Dr. Rosie, like you said, no one knows what umbrella to use. No one knows exactly how to weather the storm because they were not taught or equipped on how to resolve issues. The best way to resolve issues is the way they do it at work. Like they take the work mentality and they take it into the relationship and thinking that they can just handle it that way, but no one considers the emotional part of it. The sensitivity part of it, just being selfless, being considerate, being kind, all those things. And so as a result, so many divorces happen because people are not equipped to weather the storm and to resolve issues because everyone's trying to look out for themselves. And so when you look at that, it's not really a relationship. It's more of a partnership that they have basically tried to make it work. And once the storm comes, instead of going in for cover, they want to be able to run away from it. And that's why so many people today are getting divorces left and right, because no one is equipped. No one knows how to stay married.
Exactly.
No one knows.
Exactly.
No one knows how to stay married, and then no one wants to appreciate the power of commitment. And that's the thing. The power of commitment is so important.
And Ricky, that's why it's important with the big seminar that I'm getting ready to do, because people won't be honest and tell the truth about their relationship. The very beginning of your marriage sometimes is the biggest storm you go through, because you are trying to get adjusted to each other. You've been living by yourself so you have a lot of issues, but everybody want to paint it like it's so pretty, because people want to make you think once you get married, oh, it's just going to be lovey-dovey. It's not going to be, but nobody ever told you, because people make it look like it's so easy. It's a job to be married. It's work.
It's a job.
You have to work with folks. It is nothing to play with. And it's not going to be peaches and cream all the time, but it's important that people talk to each other and be honest. And women, I'm going to say to you, be honest in relationship. Be honest in your sexuality. Stop trying to fake orgasm. Stop trying to make somebody think they're on top of the world when they're not. And after you get tired of faking, now you're mad after 3 months when he ain't bringing it. And then you go, well, he didn't give me no orgasm. Can I tell you something? Give yourself one. You got to know what it's like. You know, you want a man to go in the bed. I'm the scavenger hunt. Well, he didn't know what to do. Well, then if it's your man, show him what to do.
Show him.
I ain't gonna teach no man what to do. It's your man. Y'all better get your head out the sand. If you teach them, then you know they got it. Okay. I'm just saying you got it. I keep forgetting it's not my nighttime show. But anyway, come on.
I mean, if his battery's running low, take him to the doctor. Get some testosterone replacement therapy. Okay.
Keith, you're so right. If his blood pressure high, you'll take him to the doctor. If he has diabetes, you'll take him to the doctor. If he having problem with his foot, you take him to the doctor. So if he having problem with his sexual apparatus, then you all need to be in the doctor's office. You need to seek help. Because when men sometimes, when they can't get it up, they won't come home. They'll stop off at the pool hall. You think he's with a woman. No, he's hoping that you're in the bed, hoping you'll sleep when he get home, that you don't try to put pressure on him about trying to do something that he just can't do right now. Hello, somebody. We talking up in the house today. Let the church say amen.
Yeah, I mean, you basically changed it. You know, if he's got diabetes and stuff like that, I mean, you have to be a wholesale change, diet, exercise, all that kind of stuff. It can be managed. All of that. But the thing is, that's why you have to be a wife to him. Okay, at that time, take care of him instead of expecting him to produce as a producer. Okay,
nurturing. We have to get back. Women have to get back to, and I'm not saying all, but there's some that do.
All
women have to get back to. But how about this?
Wait a minute.
But
wait. What you say, Keith?
Well,
listen to this. I know some women.
I don't use the slap.
I know women to do this.
But
hey,
listen, nurturing. It's the nurturing. Women today, and I'm not saying all because I know some that do, but women today need to start understanding the importance of nurturing their man, because a lot of times the man gets blamed for not doing what the woman's expecting him to do without teaching him and showing him. The woman is supposed to be the helpmate. The woman is supposed to be the one that teaches and shows. And a lot of times, a lot of men are afraid or just not interested in really opening up or being vulnerable because their woman either A, is not interested, or B, or they try to emasculate them. They try to make them feel less than. And so we got to get back to nurturing and teaching. Men are not going to always figure out what a woman wants and desires and what's going to turn her on and what's going to excite her, unless she demonstrates it and shows and talks about it. And that's where the communication comes in. The nurturing is very important. You have to be attentive to your mate. If you're not attentive, if you're not willing to teach them and show them, and if they don't figure out the right way, now you have an attitude, and now when you withhold from them and punish them, and when you withhold and punish from a man, what is the man going to do? He's going to go elsewhere.
that's where he's going to withdraw, and basically he can't give you what you need either.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's call. I think 5707 went off and came back. I think that person got something to say. Go ahead, caller. At 5707, give us your name, where you're calling from, what's your take on bitter and emotional detached, okay? Go ahead. Tell us what you have to say. Okay, I think this person... Caller, are you still there? Okay,
Caller.
and Ricky, that leads me to the seminar that we are going to do. I'm just giving you an assignment that
Mm-hmm.
we're going to do on. We're going to talk about men.
Mm.
Yes.
If we're going to have a summit just for men. You know,
Mm.
we
Yes,
had a
that's
seminar
necessary.
once, and I had women and men to break off in different groups. When the women came back, they had a point leader to talk about the same topic that I had given the men. When the women were explaining themselves about their thoughts and their feelings and why they do what they do, the men didn't say anything. They listened.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the
Mm-hmm.
men start talking, the women say, "No, that ain't how y'all feel." No, I said, "See, that's
See?
the problem. There you go,
Mm-hmm.
right there.
See?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna tell a
Not.
man what he feel. It may not be what you want to hear. It may not be right in your opinion, but you
Mm-hmm.
cannot tell a man what he feels."
I
Mm-hmm.
totally agree. I totally
Mm-hmm.
agree. You have to listen to what a man is saying. Now, if the man is giving you the floor and listening to you,
He
and as soon
did.
as he starts opening up his mouth, you got to let him finish
They
and
shut
that's
him
why a lot of
down.
men shut down. A lot of men shut
Mm-hmm.
down because they're not being heard. They're not being
Mm-hmm.
understood. So, man, it's like, bump it. If you ain't going to listen to what I got to say, I ain't saying nothing at all. Man, a woman
I'm
gets
not talking.
irritated.
Yeah.
I'm not saying nothing. You know, Bumpy, you won't let me talk, so I'm just gonna shut it down, and then I'm gonna let you
Mm-hmm.
figure it out. And so, a lot of times, women just have to if they have given the floor and they're able to say what they have to say, if you just listen to what a man is saying, you will learn so much, and you will get exactly what you're looking for. But there's a lot of impatient women who want what they want, and they want to try to tell a man what's right about him, what's wrong about him, as if a woman knows how to be a man.
Wow. Wow, women, I hope you all heard that. You cannot tell a man what he feels. You can say,
Mm-hmm.
"I don't
Exactly.
like how you say you feel," but you can't
Exactly.
tell him he don't feel that way. And that's what women will do. "No, that's not what y'all think." Yeah, and I'm sitting, I said, see, I hope you're learning from this, that you will not allow the man to express how he feels without judging. I didn't ask you to judge. This is not a true, false, and right or wrong test. This is an examination of what's in a man's heart. So, folks, we got a lot of work to do. You guys agree? We got lots of work to do. Now, this show is
Yes,
going
we
to
do.
re-air at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So,
Mm-hmm.
everybody you know that didn't get to hear, this is a show they need to hear. It will also be put up on YouTube. It'll be in the archive. Folks, we got work to do, and we don't have a long
And,
time to do it. And we got to straighten it out for the next generation, because they're going to follow the same
and
footsteps we're in. And you're talking about the next generation become more of a mess than the mess that we're
oh,
in right now. Oh,
it's
my God.
already it's horrible right now
Oh, God,
because
God. You
right
guys,
now
we
it's really
we
horrible.
can't have this. We got to break
Terrible.
this cycle of not being
Yes.
able to get married, not being able to stay married, not being able to work things out. We got to break this cycle, and we can do it. We're going to do
Yes,
it,
we
right,
can.
Ricky?
Yes,
Ricky
we can.
T,
Yes,
we're
we
going to do
will.
it. You guys
We,
going
we,
to help
we,
put this male summit on?
oh,
It's
yeah,
needed. It's well needed. It's well
yeah,
needed.
yeah. Like I said, I do this all the time. So and I talk to men all the time, and so I know what the problem is. There's possible solutions, but the thing is, it's gonna take women coming to understand men, and that's the biggest problem that we're having right now.
Exactly.
And because men and like I said, we used to be able to rely on our training to actually come together and actually form families and stuff like that. That training doesn't exist, so now people have to bump around in the dark. Okay.
And there's a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of issues, you guys, that men have not are not aware of. And I
Hmm.
talk about again in the books I've written on sexuality,
Hmm.
because people say, "Well, we're all the same." You know, when I was on Sally Jess Raphael show, and I had to say to this white woman, I said,
Hmm.
"Look, if your son, who's 16, is left to go to the movie, and at 11 o'clock he's not home, and your husband wants to make love to you,
Mm-hmm.
you're okay with that. But I'm not, because I don't know if something happened to him by the
Mm-hmm.
policeman, or has
Mm-hmm.
someone in his own age group of peer have harmed him. So don't
Mm-hmm.
tell me that we have the same issue.
No.
And should your man walk off and leave you, you
Mm-hmm.
have a better chance to get in child support than I do, because he has a better chance of getting a job than my man. So black folks don't think that you're dancing to the same music. So let's talk about our differences and look at how we can make it work. It's too many households out here where two people can't make it. Do you guys realize where we're headed with single households in this economy? Producing children who want to take my child's shoes because you can't buy him any? Who ready to hold your child up, who finished medical school and standing at an ATM because he doesn't have anything? We have to break this cycle of disconnect, and we have to empower ourselves from an economic standpoint. And we're stronger financially when we are together. I'm going to say that again, folks. We are stronger financially when we are together. We bring stronger families when we are together. So let's lay
Together.
aside
Yep.
our difference. There is no
Yep.
perfect. There's a lot of women out there, men, who are impotent women who don't care to have sex at all, been molested, many things have happened, but they want to be married. So that's a sign of, I got married. I asked them, are you married? They, with a smile, I was married. They feel in the script of life that every woman wants to get married, but they don't want to do the thing that married women do, and that's have
Come
sex.
on. Come on.
They don't
Come
want to
on.
do that. So, men, I want you to understand, sometimes when you're tripping because you think it's you, it's not about your erection, it's not about what you didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
You may be with a woman who is sexless, who does
Mm-hmm.
not
Could be.
enjoy sex, does not
Yeah.
want to have sex. That's a nighttime show, but when we have this seminar, we're breaking
Mm-hmm.
it down. And the faint heart, the sanctified, the roller holder, don't come if you can't stand it. It's my next show. It's going to be, if you can't stand the heat, don't come in the kitchen. This is Dr. Rosie, you all. Keith, Ricky, give me a sign-off word of wisdom. Keith, give me a sign-off word
Uh,
for the
uh,
people as we end this show.
donate to the. We need to keep Dr. Rosie in the church fund. Okay, she's gonna have to pay a penance for the show. Okay.
Yeah, words of wisdom is this, when you know better, you do better. And if you don't want to do better, then continue leaning on your own understanding and see how much happiness you're going to obtain.
Wow. That sounds like trust in the Lord and lean not unto your own understanding. I think I heard a
There you go.
biblical verse coming up in there.
That's
Heard
it.
one
That's
caller
it.
said we are in the world but not of the world, so we should not be
Come
feeling
on.
like they're feeling when things get tough, when things get rough. We should not be feeling what those who are not under the right wings of the spirit. You shouldn't be afraid of what Trump is doing. You shouldn't be afraid of what this world is doing, because you're in the world but not of the world. So you need to feel that protection. And if you don't, want you to read 91st Psalm. Hey, y'all.
There you go.
I ain't
That's
playing
it.
up in here. They won't let me in the church, but I got the scripture. I got the word, okay? You don't have to be in church to have the word. It needs to be in your heart. Walk with it, talk with it, and folk. And I am all about bringing about a change and having our families to come together, because we cannot afford to not be together. Not now. Folks, have a great day. Remember, 6
Yes.
o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Keith. I don't know what I would do without you, you guys. We're on to something up here. Spread the word. Express Yourself Hour is the place to be. And the next show that's going to be coming up, nighttime show, I want you to put the kids to bed. Y'all hear me? Put them children to bed. You know how you like to let them stay up running all night playing the game? Y'all need to put them to bed, because we got something to tell you. Have a great day, y'all.